Zydeco.
They might not know that, Mr. Rodney. Mr. Rodney grew up farming with mules.
Yeah.
No tractor.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mules.
wow. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did.
He said his daddy bought a tractor when he was in his 20s.
Yeah.
After he was married.
Yeah.
I said, you mean to tell me before that, your whole life coming up, you was farming with mules?
Wow.
So that's all we had.
Wow.
That was it.
Old
and,
school.
and our transportation was a horse and buggy.
Wow.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Dang.
Oh yeah, man. That's we didn't have no electric light. In school, you had a lamp. I mean, kerosene lamp. I mean, that's.
Yeah.
You go to bed at night. You didn't have no fan or nothing. Open the windows and to stop the mosquitoes, we take a little tub and put some hay in there and light it and make a smoke and go around the house with smoke. Smoke the house.
On this episode of The Roost, we have Rodney Bernard and Horace Trahan in the studio. At 86, Rodney still hits the road playing washboard for Horace to this day. Over the years, we've played many shows together, and I can confidently say they are some of the nicest people I know. So please enjoy this conversation with Rodney Bernard and Horace Trahan. So, got Mr. Rodney Bernard and Horace Trahan in the studio. Y'all were telling me y'all just had a pretty eventful festival season this past weekend. Y'all played Crawfish Festival and Jazz Fest. Tell me a little bit about this past weekend.
It was nice. It was nice. We had fun. Had a big crowd and everybody was enjoying themselves. It was fun. It was a fun job. Both of them.
Both of them. And that Jazz Fest had been about 10 years since we've been over there. So it was good to be back. And the people enjoyed themselves. Crawfish Festival was a good vibe. It was nice too. So.
Real nice, real nice.
Now I'm a big Taj Mahal fan, so you're gonna have to tell me this Taj Mahal story that you got.
Okay. So we were the first group on the Fatal Dose stage that Saturday at 11:25 that morning. So when we got there, I heard somebody playing music. I said, "Man, that sounded like Taj Mahal." He was doing his sound check, and he didn't play till like 4 or 5 o'clock that evening on that stage, but they got there early. And it was pretty cool to meet him. My son Kanan came with us. That was the first time he experienced the jazz festival, And it was just a real cool experience to meet Taj Mahal. Got to take a picture with him, and he even speaks French.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He said, "Where you from?" I said, "Around Lafayette." He said, "I could tell the way you talk." Yeah. So he started talking French too.
Whoa.
Cool dude.
Dang.
In person, on record and in person.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Just hanging backstage with Taj Mahal. I'm sure at Jazz Fest you get to meet a lot of interesting characters and.
Well, we were there early. Like I said, we were the first band on that stage, and when we started, they didn't have hardly nobody out, on the grounds. I don't know exactly what time they opened the doors, but man, once the music started, it's like the people just started coming and dancing and kept coming. I don't know how that works, but it worked.
So how did y'all really meet? How did y'all come to join forces?
Me and Mr. Rodney?
Yeah.
I've been hearing about Mr. Rodney for years.
Yeah.
And I forgot where I got your number. I called him one day, said, "Mr. Rodney Bernard." I told him who I was. And I said, "Man, I'd love to play some music with you. I heard you're a drummer." He said, "Man, that's some years I hadn't played drums." And we had got together at my daddy's house. In the living room, I had a rehearsal. We moved the furniture, and you brought that green drum set.
Yeah. Sure did.
And we started playing some gigs. I think what you went play with, or you were playing with Big Hat at the time.
Well, just before you called my, I was playing with. At that time, it was Sampe and the Bad Habit. And then after that. A while after you called me, it was with Big Hat, Thomas Field. Yes.
And then you told me, I think you couldn't play no more. You was playing with other people. He just helped.
Yeah.
So he said, "My son plays drums." I said, "What's your son name?" "Shane." So I found out where Shane was working, and I went talked to him. I said, "Man, you want to play some music? Let's jam. We could play some music together." But that's how.
That's how we got together. I went Went at rehearsal with him one night. And after he played a couple songs, he asked me, he said, "You know some of Clifton Cheniere's songs?" I said, "Yes, most all of them." So he said, "Good, good." Yeah, that's how we got together. And then when he first talked to me, I was playing with Big Hat, and he asked me, I played for him with him, and then he said, "Listen, you want to play full time with me?" Well, I said, "Right now I'm playing with Thomas Field, and he's treating me nice, and I'm satisfied with that." But I said, "Listen, if something happened there, it doesn't go right," I said, "I'll look you up." And after Thomas called me about a month after that, and he told me that, he said, "Hey, I'm having trouble with my arm, man. I won't be able to play for a while." He said, "Hey," he said, "you told me Horace was interested in having you to play with him." I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, hey, call him up. Go ahead on." So that's why I called Horace, and I said, "Listen," I said, "Thomas won't be playing for a while. So I said, if you still need a scrubboard player and you're interested in the noise that I make, I'm ready."
Dang.
So that's how he said, "Good."
That was about, 13, 14 years ago before we did the Keep Walking.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
the
yeah.
first time we met, what we was talking about, that was like 20-something years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Long before that.
Long
wow.
before that, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But so Mr. Rodney, you're talking about getting an offer to play with Clifton Chenier. I mean, that's a big legend way back in the day. I mean, you must have been pretty well established, had your name around town to get kind of an offer like that.
Well, what it was with Clifton, him and you see, I played with Marcel Dugatu, and him and Clifton was real close. So Clifton would come and sit in on his off night when we were playing somewhere with Marcel. He'd come by and he'd play a few songs, and I can't forget. I'll never forget the first time I played with him, and he came up. He looked at me. He said, "You ready?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You can follow me?" I said, "I'll try." So that's
Yeah. Threw you in the water.
Huh?
They just threw you in the water, huh?
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
So,
Yeah.
Mr. Rodney, tell me about growing up around here, growing up in Louisiana, and what was like growing up and playing music when you were young.
Okay, when I was young, I was about 9 years old, and my grandfather would give dances, house dances they call that.
Yeah.
You had a accordion player and a scrubboard. That's it. And when they start playing, I listened to them, and then my uncle had a accordion, and he'd play a little bit of song. So when they get out the field, picking cotton and stuff, get in the field to eat lunch, and the lunch wasn't quite ready, so they sit under the tree and play that accordion, and then he looked at it, he said, "Hey, I need some help." So he said, "Get the scrubboard," and it was the scrubboard that they used to wash the clothes. As a matter of fact, I wash clothes on that myself, and that's how that pick up that rubber scrubboard. I'd go in the house and open the safe drawer, and my grandmother would tell me, "Rodney, what you looking for?" I said, "I need a fork." I'd catch it. She said, wait a minute. Not my good one. Wait a minute. Mama will give you two that you can use.
Yeah.
And I take that and go meet them outside, and I'll start playing, playing music, either under the oak tree, on the back porch.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of young musicians, Zydeco band, I hear them, and say they started on the back porch,
Yeah.
which I don't know if they started to that or they heard it from somebody, but I'm not telling you something that I heard. I did it myself. I did that.
Yeah, you were the real deal.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I started on the car porch, the back, oak tree, yes, that's how. And then when the guy would play at the house dances, and then every now and then he called me when I got a little older. He said, "Hey, play a couple numbers. I'll play one or two, and then he look at me, and say, "Yeah, keep practicing. You're gonna be good. You're gonna play. You're gonna know how that." That's how I started, and then just kept going. And then after that, I ran into Freddy's Arsenal, and he was playing accordion, and he had a guitar player. And then he asked me, he said, "You want to play scrub boat with us?" So I said, "Yeah, I'd love to." So we got to practice. But he wasn't playing Zydeco. He played rhythm and blues.
Sure.
Fats Domino, Bobby Blue Bland.
And that's just popular music at the time.
No, you couldn't. A lot of people sometimes when we start playing the gig, they'd ask him to play Jolie Blanc, and he said, "No, I don't know." He could play, but he didn't want to do Zydeco music at all. He just wanted, that's all he wanted to play, and that went for a while. And then after Zydeco started getting bigger, and so he went start playing Zydeco music. Yes, and then after I played with Furnace, and then a while after that, me and the guitar player, and we met a guy named George Alexandria. So we talked to him, so we start practicing. So we had rhythm and blues going there, and he called him Guitar George.
Yeah.
Guitar George. Yeah. So we were playing rhythm and blues. That's that's all we were playing then, until later on it slowed down or something, and then I went to Zydeco.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're telling me, you're growing up in Louisiana, and real quick, where was this cotton farm?
Oh, in between Karen Crow and Scott.
So you're in the Karen Crow Scott area. You're on a cotton farm.
Cotton farm.
You're young, and you're playing. You're learning the washboard. From where you actually were washing clothes with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're how old are you when you start doing all this?
I was about 9 years old.
So you're 9 years old, and
that's when I started. I was learning, practicing.
Growing up on a cotton farm, learning the washboard, learning about music, and then you're getting introduced to this R&B trio that you're talking about. So you're switching from, I'm assuming, going from washboard onto drums, right?
Exactly.
For this trio.
Exactly.
So now you're playing drums for this group. What is playing with that group kind of like?
Or they would. I mean, hey, it's playing Zydeco. Rhythm and blues. That's it. And all three of us would sing.
Yeah.
And it was. Well, back then when we were playing, we didn't have no television, no TV, nothing like that.
Yeah.
So people would come out, so what they'd say is, "We ought to go listen to them little boys." That's how they'd call us.
Yeah.
Them little boys are good. So they'd come out. They'd turn out.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So you were saying that you had some family members that would put on some house dances. Is that where y'all would be playing, or where would your trio be playing?
The trio. No, we were playing just in clubs and private party. My grandfather doing the house dances. It was just accordion and
accordion and washboard.
And the washboard. That was it. They called it French Lala. French Lala. Yeah.
Now, what were those house parties like back in the day? Because that had to be, what year could that have been? That was pre-60s. That was,
it was further back than that. It was something else, and it was unbelievable because people would, they didn't have nowhere to go. They'd get together and just come there, and what they'd do. Did make beer, homemade beer,
Wow.
And they butcher a hog and make, sell sandwiches, late lunches, and good food like that, and people would come out and drink the beer, and they sell homemade beer. And after they get out of the field on Friday afternoon or Saturday, they didn't have nowhere else to go. Say, hey, they'd come to the house dances.
I remember
French la la.
you told me that one time too, Mr. Rodney. Back then they didn't have the Facebook and the internet all they have today. You say when y'all was working in the field, if your grandpa would pick up the accordion player, Mr. Claude Fox or Mr. Ernest Fox, they knew which way, if they was heading, that they knew where the dance was that night.
Oh, yeah.
When the people would be working, they'd hear the music. The musician, he'd be playing the accordion on the horse and buggy.
Yeah.
And they knew.
It was a real good. We were out in the field, picking cotton. And here, my grandfather, where he gave them house dances, he was living in between Bristol. Yeah, you heard of the Charlie Ball Club. It was right across the street from there. And he had to come get his accordion player in Scott with a horse and buggy. That was the transportation back then. That's it. That's all we had.
Yeah.
So we were in the field, and when you're out in the field, you don't hear nothing. It's quiet. You're just picking cotton, and so you hear that horse coming trotting on that gravel road, and the man in the buggy playing that accordion. That was a beautiful sound, man. I wish I'd have taped. I had somewhere to put, play it again now, and yeah, we could tell which way he was going, and he said, "Hey, well, that's what the Zydeco dance tonight going to be at Broussard," and yeah, that's and back then we didn't have no electric light, and my grandfather would went inside. He had kerosene lamps, and they'd take over all the furniture out of one room, and so that was where the people would dance and what you call it. So outside, he'd take a bottle of beer and take a kerosene wire and tie it all around the neck of the bottle, and take a piece of cloth and stuff it in there and leave about this, just a little bit out, and put some kerosene in there and light it and hook it up in a tree all around his house. So that's how he had lights.
Yeah, little candles.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what didn't have no light, no electric light or nothing like that.
Wow.
No.
What was it like growing up on a cotton farm and picking that cotton? What was that like?
It was okay. I mean, for me, it was all right. That's all we had to do. And only one thing, you only had money once a year.
Seasonal.
That's it. When you're doing that. After that, that's it. But one thing, it was quiet, and you didn't have you didn't have to worry about locking your house or nothing like that, because everybody was friendly. They'd look out for one another. You know what I mean? There was nobody. You didn't have to worry about nobody breaking in your house or nothing like that.
Yeah.
No. It. A lot of people say now, oh, back then, man, it was rough, but it was better in one way than now. For some of the thing goes on.
Sure, simpler times, I guess.
Yeah.
So y'all are picking cotton, and then you hear the accordion playing, and you knew that was time to go to gather and come together and dance.
Oh yeah. So you see, we didn't have nothing else to do. So when it get out the field, we didn't have nothing else to do, and the people would wait. I mean, they couldn't wait to say, "Well, hey, where's the Zydeco dance tonight?" And what they tell them, well, at Broussard, hey, they was ready to go, because they had no television. They had what we had at the radio, battery radio, but that wouldn't last long. That's it. That's all we had. That's it. Yeah.
Do you remember if the musicians that were playing at those house dances, if they got treated well, or if they got?
Oh yeah. Yes. My grandfather would buy half a gallon of wine, and that was for the musicians.
Oh, wow.
So he had a little cup. He'd come with the and fill it up and give that to each musician. But he wouldn't give them more than that for maybe every 20 minutes. So somebody, I think my grandmother asked him, "Hey, why don't you give them the whole bottle?" He said, "No, they might get drunk and won't finish it."
Yeah.
Yeah. So he said, "I'll just give it to them every now and then." Yes, that's how it was. But I mean, they're nice, and after the dance, the musician would get free beer, and what everything they wanted after the dance. They come eat free. I mean, they take care of the musicians back then. Yeah.
That's good.
Yes, indeed.
That's good. So you grew up and you continued to play with your R&B trio, and then
Then after that, we I went back to Zydeco.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I started playing with Marcel Dugas.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm playing with Marcel Dugas on. He's the first one that did Big Mamou, Zydeco style.
He wrote that?
He did. We did. We practiced and got on it together. But I'm playing drum on that song there, with Marcel Dugas.
Oh wow.
And then I played with Rockin' Doopsie Senior too.
Wow.
One song I'm playing drum on one of his songs he did. It was "Don't Let the Green Grass Fool You." Rockin' Doopsie. I'm playing drum on that too with him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where would y'all record something like that?
In Crowley.
In Crowley, they had a
J.D. Miller.
J.D. Miller. That's it. J.D. Miller.
So J.D. Miller had a full functional professional studio.
Oh yeah. Yes, indeed. Yeah, in Crowley. Yes, yeah.
Now back then, I'm assuming there's no click track, or is there? I mean, y'all are recording to tape, or is that just like, one take, or what is that recording process like back in the day? I'm sure it's a little different with now. We have computers and all this digital stuff.
Just one on tape and what you call it, and it had just one side and the flip side. Well, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. Yes. Yeah, it's it's different now. But that's how it was fun, and after you get out of the field, it didn't have nothing to do while sitting down waiting. You just get on that oak tree or that back porch and practice, hey. And then after that, a while, Len August called me, and he told me, I'm going into Zydeco. He said, I need a scrubboard player. I was playing drum then.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I don't know. He said, well, I have a meeting at my house tonight. He said, come meet us. We'll have a couple of beers and we'll put something on the pit. So I went and met him. We had a rehearsal, and I played with him. So, and then about a month after I started playing with him, he said, hey, we're going to Germany and Paris, France. And that's why I went to Germany and Paris, France with Len August.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Tell me about Len August. I had some time I got to spend with him, and I was playing kind of guitar for him for a little bit. But Len August is blind, right?
It sure is.
So tell me about what it was like playing music with a blind man, and you're going through Europe, and you're touring, and you're playing in a band with Len August. Tell me about that.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
We had Len August. We'd go to New Orleans. We played. As a matter of fact, we were playing at Rock and Roll in New Orleans before it was remodeled. We had to go upstairs, and he had been there. And I'm driving, and he told me, he said, Rodney, what street you on? So I tell him. So he said, go 2 blocks and make a right. He said, no. go 3 blocks because the next one is a one-way, and make a right. And he said the building would be the 3rd building on the right. I said, okay. And I was driving, I looked back at him, you know. So, and when we were traveling, we going to Houston, and he would sit in the back all the time. So most of the time I was driving, or whoever was driving, he said, next mall marker, give it to me. And when we get to one, we give it to him. He said a little while, he said, in an hour and a half, we're going to be in the city limit of Houston. You know, he was, let me say it this way. He was a smart, blind fella. I mean.
Yeah.
And listen, he could tell when you start playing, oh, wait a minute, your guitar's out of tune. Man, you know, it's one thing he did really tripped me bad. Me and him was close. I knew him, you know, from a long time. So we had a meeting in Germany. So he said, Rodney, you'll come with me? I said, yeah. So we got there, man. We got there with the fellow. We were sitting at a big table like this, and the fellow had ordered some beer. And he gave us they brought us each a beer with a glass. And Lynn had his, and he poured his beer too. He poured his beer in his bottle himself.
Yeah.
So I kept wondering, I said to myself, how he did that and didn't spill any.
Yeah, he didn't pour over the cup.
Well, so a while after that, I asked him, I said, Lynn, I gotta, me and him was close, we were tight. I got a question for you. He said, what's that? I said, I noticed, I seen you pouring your beer in a glass and you didn't spill any. He said, you never noticed good enough. I said, what you did? He said, I put my thumb on the top of the cup and poured it with and when I felt the beer, the cold, I knew it was full.
Oh, wow. Yeah, just some tricks.
That's right. That's
Dang.
right. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff he did that you're wondering, what's going on. And when we were over there, he stayed in his room by himself, and he told me one time he told me, Rodney, come into my room. I need you to do something for me. So when I got in there, he told me, he said, I have 2 tires right here. Tell me which one, the gray one and the blue one. I said, okay. I gave it to him. I said, that's the blue one and that's the gray one. He said, okay. But he had 2 suits. So I said to myself, how you going to know which is the blue suit or the gray one? But he didn't ask me, and he knew, but hey, when he come out dressed up, he had the blue, the right tie with the right suit.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
So he was sharp, man. He's sharp, blind.
Yeah. Must have been sounding pretty good. He'd be going to Europe and be touring like that. So tell me a little bit about what Europe was like and what playing in that band was like. Tell me about that band too.
With him? Oh, it was great. Great.
It was a big band?
We were, no, not more than 5.
Okay.
You know, he had a drum, a guitar, 5 and 6, not more than that. But he was playing the accordion, and he had a guitar and and a bass and a drum and a scrub board. That's it. Yes, that's.
And y'all get to spend a while in Europe, or what was Europe like?
Oh yes, we the first trip I went with him. We stayed 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks, we did 8 jobs.
Okay.
4 jobs a week.
Nice.
But the longest was at 45 minutes and an hour.
Oh, wow.
They call it a set, to each set. That was it. And the first week we did 4 jobs like that. And then we stayed there. and then the next week the same thing too, and we had two guys. We had one guy met us over there at the airport, and a young lady with him, and I'll never forget. I have that picture. Next time I come, I'll bring you that picture. They call it Didi and Goodwin, but they stayed with us every place we went, every motel we stayed in. They stayed too with us, and when it was time for lunch, he'd tell us where to meet in the lobby. Go into the where we have to have lunch, and he'd tell us what they had to eat. Because I heard a few musicians say that overseas the food it's not good.
Yeah.
That's not so. The reason it wasn't good because they didn't know what to order.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
If you don't know what to good. But over there, the food was good. Now, I had nothing, none of us, nothing over ice.
Right, no ice.
No, but everything was cold. Everything was cold.
Yeah.
But, like over here, so you said you have a Coke or a beer or water with some ice. Not over there. Nothing I've ever had. Nothing over ice. No.
Did y'all go to any French-speaking countries?
Oh yeah. Now, yeah, French over there. It's okay. I couldn't. Some things I understand, but not everything. Now with Lynn too, I went to Canada, Montreal. I was home there. Montreal, Canada.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The French there. I mean, I could understand everything.
So the French in Montreal, Canada, is very similar to Cajun French. You're saying,
Yeah.
What was learning Cajun French like? What really is Cajun French compared to, say, France or Canada? What is that like?
Like to me, in Paris, France, and places like that, look like they speak faster. The word is they speak fast. And if they slow down and that, I could understand it a little better. But when they talk, I mean, that to me, that's but it's not the same as here.
And everyone in your family spoke Cajun French, I'm assuming, and you learned from your grandfather.
Wow.
And
Well, how I learned how to speak French, my grandmother and grandfather on my dad's grandmother and mom and dad couldn't say yes in English. And they would babysit us for mama to work with dad in the field. So that's how I learned how to speak French with my grandmother and grandfather. But when I get home, my mom and dad wouldn't speak French with us. They talk English with us. And when I went to school, I couldn't speak French in school. Couldn't. But when I was at school, a bunch of my friends called me a little Frenchman. Because they could tell I knew how to speak French from my accent, you know what I mean? So after I started playing Zydeco music and went overseas, when I met them, I said, hey man, I just got back from Germany, Paris. You went to Germany, Paris, France? He said, yeah. How you went there? I said, we flew over there. You flew over there, it cost money. Oh, I said, I don't know, they paid us. They paid our way over there. So I said, that's where that little Frenchman come from. That's what the French, and which is true. But when we got over there, they made a big deal with us, me and Lynn August. We have some Creoles from Louisiana, gonna perform to us tonight. So by me knowing how to sing in English and in French, that's how I got to go over there.
Oh wow!
So the little I can sing, I do French and in English, and
Yeah.
so I let them know what that little Frenchman, what they did to me, the French.
Oh, yeah.
The little French. Yeah.
And you're still singing in French today, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So it wasn't too long ago. Y'all invited me over for your birthday party. We had some crawfish out in the yard, and it was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
And it was so nice to see everybody because it's been a while since we played together.
Right.
But I used to look back fondly on getting to play with y'all, and you were singing French and still still keeping it going.
I told my families about you because I've been playing music since 1945, so you know how many new person I met playing music.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you were one of the nicest. I said you were nice, friendly, easygoing, and
A monster.
I said, that's why I wanted you to come.
Thank you.
And meet him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I said he's good. He can play, but and I said he's real nice, easygoing, and I said because I met some guys. Hey, they were. Well, I don't know. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, I'm sure they got some not so nice guys out there. So yeah, I mean to do a tour in Europe, I hope y'all are getting compensated well. Tell me about kind of the progression of how you got compensated from when you started to how you kept going, and how did you continue to keep music as a career throughout the ages?
Okay, when I first started, when I wanted to learn how to play music, and when I started playing music, it was something I wanted what I was doing, and I just wanted to keep doing it because to please the people, to do something. We wasn't worried about making the money when I started off playing music. All we wanted to do is play music.
Yeah.
And it was doing something for the people, making people happy, make people, and they would enjoy it, and that's what it was all about for us when we started playing music. But, when I started that's how it was. It was just it was like if you were doing something to please the public.
Yeah.
That. Yeah.
Just to entertain the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you still get to keep on doing it today.
Yeah.
And you're 86 now?
86.
86, and you're still playing washboards, still standing straight up, and and I mean y'all play some 3-hour gigs, y'all playing some long gigs, and you still rocking it, still
right,
still.
Yeah. I tell you what, I know, I feel that I'm blessed. At that age, can still do the things that I'm doing. Because I worked at a dealership when I got out the field or the place. I worked for him 50 years, and I retired from that. And then now that I'm retired, I still do. I do yard work. I let a few go, but I still do. I still got my I feel better if I do something.
Yeah.
In other words, I'm not the type to just. I like to watch the news, but after that, that's it. I'm not the type that just sit there and watch TV. I gotta move, and I feel better when I do that.
So you think moving and staying active this whole time's kept you young and kept your mind sharp and.
Yeah. A lot of people I meet and they tell me that. I said, they tell me, don't stop, man. Whatever what's your secret, man? I said, I don't know, just keep working and keep moving. But they said, whatever you're doing, don't stop, man.
Yeah.
Keep it up. I said, I'm about to retire. They said, no. If you retire, everything might stop. Hey, keep going. Keep going,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Keep going.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just, keep going. Yes, indeed.
Mr. Rodney, how do you think the world has changed since you were a kid? I mean, it must be so different today. It must be so unbelievable.
Yes, it is. It is unbelievable. It is. It's just some things was. It's just something I just don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it's hard to put into words. It's hard
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I can put in the words, but
Yeah.
just don't want to. I guess.
I hear you.
You know what I mean?
I hear
But
you.
man, it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You had places to you go play, and hey, it was just when we go there, we had to walk on the bandstand
Mm-hmm.
and had to stay on the bandstand.
Oh yeah.
Things like that. And but the people liked our music, so they said, hey, come back. And they said, well, if you need something, just call and we come bring it to y'all and things like that. Where right now you go to places and everybody's having a good time,
Mm-hmm. So some things change for the better, maybe some things for the worse, maybe.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she had all kind of, things change and
Mm-hmm.
it's just unbelievable, with how things is and yes, indeed, man.
Well, looking forward, I gotta say I'm extremely inspired by you and think it's totally unbelievable to see someone like you still doing it, still at your age. And so looking forward, what tell me a little bit about what it's like to be in a family band, basically. You and Horace and your son playing drums with y'all. I mean, that's a very different situation than most bands, and that's got to be a blessing in and of itself.
Yes, it is. It is. But it is. But one thing with in a family like this, you playing music and hey, man, let's get it together. It's not because you're my son or you that you can get away with it. No, hey, if we get to play, no, when we're not playing, if we just ball and crawfish like when you came, it's different, But when we get on the bandstand or rehearsal,
Still got to be business.
Exactly.
Still got to business.
Business, right? Yeah, business. Now it's a lot of people have. Like my girlfriend. Well, my wife. My wife passed away, but 12 years ago, and I never remarried. But I have a girlfriend. And sometimes we play somewhere, and she tells me, "Y'all had fun?" And sometimes I tell her, I said, "Hey, yeah, it's okay, but that's work." I said it's not like you going out and have a good time and have fun. But I said, hey, us, especially when I had my band, I said, hey, it's work. Sometimes one's gonna call me, hey, I can't make it tonight, man. I can't do it. I said, oh, so I gotta go start looking for somebody else. I mean, it's not like you think.
It's not easy.
No, like you think. Blame me. Some people say, hey, you had fun. It's fun. But it's fun. You like to do what you're doing, but it's work too. It's work too. Yeah. It's work too. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
So how long was it that you knew Horace, and then Horace, I know, is married to your daughter. How did that situation kind of come about?
Well, that
if you don't mind me asking.
That came in. That had nothing to do with the music. In other words, no. I mean,
Yeah.
He met when he played, he met my daughter, and after she told me that one time, hey, I'm dating Horace. I said, what?
I met through Shane.
Oh yeah.
I asked Shane. I asked him, man, what your sister doing?
Yeah.
You know, and she was single. I was single, and but that story, Mr. Bernard, that's a true story.
Yeah,
because I grew up always hearing that you got to ask. You're supposed to ask the father.
Oh yeah.
For permission.
Yeah.
Permission.
And I sure went meet him. He was working out there in the country, Mr. Rodney.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you. He stopped and looked at me. He said, what?
Yeah.
I said, well, me and Chantel been dating now for like about a year. I'd like to marry her. And that's a true story.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's a true story.
Yeah.
Wow. So y'all were playing together for a while before that happened.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we played together. Me and Mr. Rodney played music together. Like I said, that was like, I was in my early 20s, like mid 20s.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's before I had my son. That's way before I even knew Shane or Chantel, or, And then Mr. Rodney said he was playing other music, and he said, I can't play with you. He said, my son played drums, Shane. So I met Shane, and then we started playing, and it was we got back together down the road,
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So Mr. Rodney was playing drums for you back in the day.
He was playing the drums when we with the green drum set. He says it's a long time I hadn't played drums, but I always did hear Rodney Bernard was a hell of a drummer.
Oh yeah.
So I called. I said, Mr. Rodney, you don't know me, but my name's Horace Trahan. I'd love to be able to play some music with you. So we got together and we started practicing.
Yeah.
But he was playing with other people too.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he called me to play drum, and I told him, I said, Horace, I said, hey, man. I said, listen, I'm rusty. I'm going to have to do a lot of practicing. I'm practicing with you.
Yeah.
He said, that's okay. He said, Wednesday, we practice at my daddy. And we go to his daddy in the dining room, man. When I got there, he said, get your drums. I said, what we got to practice? He said, in here. Set them up in here.
Yeah.
I said, oh, okay. Yeah, yes, indeed.
Dang.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Rodney, you were more of an established name in the music business, and people had already known about you and played for you. So Horace, you must have just started kind of having some maybe success, maybe like some momentum to start trying to hire some older cats and some older musicians in the area. What was kind of going on whenever you were looking out for Mr. Rodney?
I just wasn't scared to call him and ask him, can we play some music together? And I called him, and he said, yeah. But he said, I said, just like he said, it's a while I hadn't played drums, So I just wasn't scared to reach out to people, and hey, I'd love to jam with you. I'd love to play, and just wasn't scared. We had gigs coming up, So I just wasn't scared to call people and, hey, let's see what happens,
Yeah. And so how long did y'all play together?
We played a few,
not too long.
We played a few festivals. We played Grand Street, I think. We played Slim Waikiki. We had a few, not too long, because Mr. Rodney was playing with different people. That's when he told me, he said, my son played drums, Shane. And then I went and meet Shane, at his work, and asked him, said, man, I got some gigs coming up. I want to see if you want to play some music,
So you asked Shane to play for you, and then you're playing, and you're getting a bunch of gigs. And you said this was in your mid-20s, right?
Yeah.
So is this, I know you had kind of some stages to your career. Is this kind of more of your Cajun music stage, or?
No, it was Zydeco.
Is it all Zydeco by then?
Well, we were doing Zydeco and whatever, some rock and roll, some Zydeco. We didn't want to feel, wanted to be able to play whatever we wanted to play. But it was mostly Zydeco,
So this was kind of pretty soon after you stopped playing with D.L. Bernard and you put your own band together?
Yeah. With Mr. D.L., I must have been about 18 or 19. And he took me all over the world. I played with Mr. Hubert Met also. But then I started playing, wanted to start my own group and just be able to play whatever we want to play. But we were playing mostly Zydeco. And I love it, And we could also do other things. Also, we could do some small pop. We could do some rock and roll. We could do some reggae our style. You know, different things. You know.
So whenever you started your own group, were you still kind of playing with other groups, or like how long did it take for you to kind of build momentum and to become a self-sufficient, like, you know, band?
I don't know exactly how long it took, but after I started with my own group, I'm not sure.
You kind of stopped playing with other bands and
Yeah.
that
But I mean, I still play with even to this day. Like my I got a brother-in-law Jeb Huval, married to my sister Anita, and his brother Brazos Huval plays the fiddle. Jeb plays guitar. I'm playing with him tomorrow night at Praise Jones in Karen Crow. You know, so I still play here and there, not too often with other groups because and you know that's a blessing that the Austin Express we staying busy, and then sometimes some of the other guys in the group go play with other people too. You know, if we don't have nothing, I'll go make a hustle. You know, play with somebody or one of the fellas in the band. You know, they go play with somebody. We ain't got, you know, we all still do that sometimes. You know, but we've been blessed with the gigs that's been coming in. You know, for the Austin Express. So, and I don't remember exactly how long it took before it. You know, a couple of years. You know, just don't quit though. Yeah, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing when I went to rehearsal, first time I went to rehearsal with him, I noticed one thing with him. He wasn't doing just Zydeco. He did it all. Zydeco, French, waltzes, and you know. He did it all. Well, most of the other accordion player I play with, if he go down and do a blues or something else, they put that accordion down and wouldn't play, which Horace doesn't do that. He play. He
creates his own style to fit the song.
Yeah. And when I got back home, I said that, well, you know, he's something else. He's not playing just Zydeco. He do it all, whatever, you know. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, and I think if you're playing music, that's a good thing. I mean, you know, sometimes I come up with some old songs, man, and I tell some of the guys, hey, put your tanking cap on, man. I'm going way back. And you're gonna always hear somebody, hey, I remember that song. You know. So,
yeah, but even with you, Mr. Rodney, anything that I said, Mr. Rodney, let's try this. Over the years, we did like that HD TV, King of Sand, some stuff that's not even Zydeco or Cajun or nothing. Just and I said, let's do that, Mr. Rodney. He put the headphones on. It's time to roll it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So,
did you get any kind of pushback from musicians around you for what you were doing? Did people kind of look down on any of your like choices?
Yeah. I mean, you know.
Not to say that it matters, just, you know, I know it.
You got to be you.
Yeah.
You got to be you.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to be you.
Yeah.
And if sometimes people don't understand you being you, try to have some understanding with them.
Yeah.
You know, because it's all good.
Yeah.
Even if they don't, you know. And I always did want to just be me.
Yeah.
You know. And not trying to hurt nobody, nothing. Just being me.
Yeah.
Whatever I decide to do, you know, I tried, you know, I don't try to do it the best. I want to be the best version of myself before I leave this earth.
Yeah.
So always just try to be me, and you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I notice with the things that I put out here and there, or the music I write, I notice that I still haven't gained a ton of attention yet or anything like that. But I worry one day that gaining that attention will make me, will put the pressure on, will make me feel more pressured to either replicate that same thing or to live up to that. How have you felt the pressure over your career? Like, you know, and how have you coped with that? You know?
Do you?
Yeah. All right.
Now, you can do the other things too.
Yeah.
But Don't let you go what.
Mm-hmm.
There you
No,
go. That's it.
do them both.
Mm-hmm.
But be you.
So people are always going to try and influence
Exactly.
you, and
Exactly.
you know,
Ain't
Yeah.
nobody gonna be a better Mr. Rodney than Mr. Rodney.
Yeah, right.
A better
Yeah.
Pablo than Pablo. A better
That's it.
Horace than Horace.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's one thing I promise you. There's never gonna be a better Horace Trahan than Horace Trahan.
No.
Yeah.
Or Mr. Rodney Bernard. You know.
No.
Yeah.
That's
So
it. Yeah.
as long as I stay in my lane and know who I am and be me. That's how you just said it. Be you.
Yeah.
You good.
Yeah.
Oh, you good.
Some good advice.
Yeah.
Very good advice.
But it's one thing about you. I can say from the little time that we had together, the song we played with, you work with whatever the band doing. You work with the group, and that's the main thing, you know.
Mm.
Whatever we do, you work with them.
Yeah.
You got some guys that play one way, they do that way,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and
Yeah.
do the way they do it. And then,
Yeah.
yes.
That is interesting. And it's like, there is, I guess, a balance then, because you say you got to be you, but then at the same time, it's like to be a hired gun is to put yourself in the background, is to like, you know, kind of put yourself on the back burner and support and be a support to other people. And so it is kind of a balance between how can I always be authentic while still trying to do justice to whoever I'm backing up. But that being said, I still love backing people up, and I still do insert myself. You know, I get my time to shine, my time to solo and speak my own voice. But it is an interesting thing that I think some musicians might get wrapped up in. They say, I don't want to play Zydeco music, or I don't want to do this kind of music because that's not me. But there's always an opportunity to insert yourself into whatever it is that you do, while not stepping on toes and not being too much and taking attention away from other people, you know. So what, you know, I don't think I'm not sure where I got any of this, you know, any of this philosophy from or anything like that. I had, I guess, good people around me to teach me and to show me who was teaching y'all, who showed you how to be a good musician and what it meant to be a good musician. You know, where do you learn something like that? Where do you learn the rights and wrongs of playing with people and doing business in the music industry?
Well, me, when I started playing music, I wanted to do the best that I could with it. Like when I played the drum, hey, I wanted to be, hey, do the best that I could on it, yeah, with it, you know, just like scrub board. I mean, hey, now I've seen some guys playing the scrub board, and I said, oh, I like what he's doing, and I try to do. I mean, you know, I do something like him, or tried. You know, he's good. You know, it's not. But and just like now, we doing thing. I'm working with Horace, and after he do a few numbers, he tell me, Mr. Rodney, what you got? But when he gonna tell me what I got, and I tell him a number, hey man, when I get that mic, I'm doing the best I can, and he better watch me because I'm doing the best I can. I want to sound better than him if I can. and that's, I mean, from what you asked, that's what I'm telling you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when I get on my scoreboard, I want to sound better than. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
It's just. But then in musician, you got even though you play Zydeco, you got Clifton Chenier was the king, Zydeco, so he do Zydeco, but everybody can sound like Clifton. If everybody sound like Cliff, you don't need but Cliff.
But so you're saying, yeah, not everyone can be Clifton Chenier.
No,
And you know,
and if everybody sound just like Cliff, well, hey, they gotta. I mean, hey, why shouldn't we listen? Just keep. So hey, no. Well, we listened to Cliff last night. Tonight we're gonna go listen to Horace. So tonight we're gonna go listen to whoever. I mean, you know, the different musicians, you know, different thing.
Yeah.
But then me for when and then another thing, but me scrub board, you got musicians that do different things, you know. Scrub board is not a leading instrument,
No.
you know. It's not.
Yeah.
Some people believe it is. It's not. It's the backup accordion. And when I play scrub board with Horace, I'm playing with Horace. I'm playing, you know,
Yeah.
with him. I try to
Support.
support him. Some musicians, I mean, they do what they want, but it's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
You got some musicians that play scrub board. It's just a show. But it's all good.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
it
yeah.
all, you know.
Yeah.
Which the way some of them do that, I can't do that. And I'm not trying to do that. At my old school, and one guy told me, he said, "Hey man, you play scrub board, play with your accordion." And after he told me that, you know, and that was Clifton's brother, you know. When I was learning, I asked him, and he said, "Hey," because he said a scrub, which is true. Scrub board is not no leading instrument.
Yeah.
What you gonna get? Start accordion, and that's how I play. But you know, but I try to. You know, I did the best I can with my car to sound good with him, make him sound good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of scrub board players I know, I don't know if this is a stereotype or not, but a lot of them seem to be some womanizers or seem to be pretty flashy. And you know, I don't, it seems like, you know, scrub board players.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of that's true or not, but
I don't know it. Which is
but I know you might still be flirting with some girls, you know, still at your age, still.
yeah.
No, I won't get you in trouble.
You know, some of them, you know, it's just if you notice, you got some scrub board.
Yeah.
Not me. It's my wrist.
Oh yeah. Yeah, more subtle, laid back. You're more reserved.
Exactly.
Not so flashy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And most of them, we be in some places, and some of the women's come at you know, hey. No,
Yeah.
baby, I don't know how to do it that way.
Yeah.
You know, hey, but then I do it. You know, my and that's it where I think it sounds better and it fill in more. Now I like what they do too. I mean, you got some young girls, young women that had to get on the bandstand and man, they caught up with that scrub board. I love that.
Yeah.
That's good. That sounds good to me. But I'm not going to try to do that like that.
Yeah.
No, because it's not my thing. I'm doing mine.
Yeah.
And I'll stick to what?
Yeah.
My old school.
Yeah, and it's good not to get too carried away staring at the pretty girls in the front either, huh? You know, because I growing up, I was hanging around Lee Allen and hanging around Buckwheat Jr., Reggie Durrell, and they always told me, like, Buckwheat was pretty strict with his musicians, and, like, they always told me, like, hey, don't be staring at that girl in the front, and don't be, you know, daydreaming, because you got to be looking at your accordion player, and you got to be focused and making sure you're talking to the band, communicating, so that you don't miss the break and you don't miss the stops, and you know you can't get carried away while you're on stage. That's business time. So, you know, looking up to Buckwheat and looking up to those kind of players, I want to know if you have any like Buckwheat stories, or if you have any stories about those kind of cats and like that kind of professionalism, because that's top notch.
Now me, I'm playing music. The pretty young girl in front of me, I mean, I can look at it and smile, but I want to pay attention to what I'm doing. I'm not going to or miss a break. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I can look at it and smile and even wave it, but I'm not going to. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to pay attention to what I'm doing too.
Yeah. Did you?
I remember Mr. Felix Richard that taught me how to play the accordion.
Yeah.
One thing he told me about music, and I put that into life also. He said, you go watch other accordion players, And even if you don't like their style too much, if you listen to them long enough, they're going to do something that you don't do or do something a little bit different that you can incorporate into your style. And it's the same thing in life. If somebody they might not care for the way they do things, but they might do something a little different from you. And if you can incorporate that into your way of doing things, make it a little more full or whatever. But I know, listen, like the story, like Mr. Rodney, Mr. Felix, even in life with my daddy, my mama, and this how you said with Lil Buck, Buckwheat, all these older musicians and the older generation, they ain't been sleeping all these years. And we can learn a lot, and we should be learning a lot, to be able to soak it in and make our own judgments and to be able to pass it on to the next generation, so that music and life go together too.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about who was like the older influences in your life, because they must have been from a generation that that the kids my age don't even know that generation anymore, the older generation from when you were young. What was their life kind of like? What was growing up even back then like?
Well, you had like Clifton Chenier, he was way back, and some of them old time musicians that would do them house dances, and it was nothing but a accordion player and a scrubboard, and then some of them had a box guitar, but all of them had different style, different, and you run into different things. You had some musicians, some scrubboard would start playing scrubboard. They start drinking, and after a while they put their scrubboard down and go on dancing and thing. And accordion player couldn't find the scrubboard player. Would, hey, what? You got it. And then again, you run into some that was real serious about them, but they don't, and different things, you always ran into different musicians doing something different things, sometimes I can remember going to listen to somebody and say, listen to them, oh, they just clowning. Let's go. Again, like I said before, I do me, but if I see somebody that's doing something that fits with the accordion player, I mean, hey, I like that. I'm gonna catch on to that,
Yeah.
And it all depends. Now, me who play the scrubboard, I can play blues or waltz. It doesn't matter. But no, if your band playing and they're playing the blues, you can't be doing all kind of thing on that scrubboard. You can do it if you want, but it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they're playing the good blues and everything, and then you. No.
So, Mr. Rodney, I mean, you had, you're talking about the box guitar, and you're talking about the scrub board coming from washing clothes. You saw these instruments and people playing them before there was, before they'd been doing it for years, so it's so new. This is a new kind of thing that people are doing and figuring out, and you've seen it over decades. You're talking about back in the 40s and to 40s, 60s, the 80s. You've seen how this genre has just transformed, over the years so much. That it must have not only changed so much. There must have been so many new players to come up and to invent new things. What is that like to see that change?
Yeah, it changed. They changed it a whole lot. You got some, especially young musicians and accordion player. They want to say, hey, we're doing accordion player. We're doing Zydeco. and some of the songs they're changing it around. They're changing it too much. It's not the Zydeco no more.
Right.
To me.
Not that you grew up with. No.
Not most what I grew up with. You know? But they change it around. They do some things different. I guess it's okay. I don't know, but to me it's not. They leaving the original stuff too far in the back. I mean, you know, it's
and you talk about people maybe not really knowing the true meaning of the back porch, or knowing the true meaning of, you know, Zydeco son pasale, and where did this really come from, and how are these people continuing to do this genre, and are they do they do it justice? Do they really know the history of it, and you really live the history of it, you know?
Zydeco come from and Zydeco music come from really back in the olden days from the farmers, you know, things like that. You got I was somewhere, I think in Houston somewhere, and I met a young guy. He was playing, and after the song, he said, "Whoa!" And I said, "What's that word? Where that word come from, man?" You said. He looked at me. He said, "That's Zydeco, man." I said, "That come from Zydeco?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Oh, okay." And whoa come from you talk to your mules and your horses like that in the field when you're farming. You say whoa, and your horse stop.
Yeah.
And so that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
But he said it was coming from Zydeco. No.
Yeah.
You put it in Zydeco, but it doesn't come from Zydeco.
They might not know that, Mr. Rodney. Mr. Rodney grew up farming with mules.
Yeah.
No tractor.
Yeah.
Mules.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I did.
He said his daddy bought a tractor when he was in his 20s.
Yeah.
After he was married.
Yeah.
I said, "You mean to tell me before that, your whole life coming up, you was farming with mules?"
Wow.
He said, "That's all we had."
Wow.
That was it.
Old school.
And our transportation was a horse and buggy.
Wow.
Yes, indeed.
Dang.
Oh yeah, man. That's you know, we didn't have no electric light. In school you had a lamp. I mean, kerosene lamp. I mean, that's
Yeah.
you go to bed at night. You didn't have no fan or nothing. Open the windows and to stop the mosquitoes, we take a little tub and put some hay in there and light it and make it smoke and go around the house with smoke. Smoke the mosquitoes so they wouldn't come in the house.
Whoa.
That was it.
Whoa.
But
Real deal.
yeah, regarding this, I mean, with all of that, I mean, hey, we survived. You know. But that was it, man. You leave the windows open, the kites flying, and mosquitoes come in. So we make some smoke around the house to smoke the mosquitoes. Yeah.
And you know, as kids today probably never really have to understand what it's like pre-AC or before they had, you know, some certain comforts, and you know,
what they want everything got to be perfect. Now I got when they come into my house, sometimes I live by myself right now. I say, "Daddy, wait, it's hot in here." I said, "No, I like it that way. Leave it that way." Yeah, you know, it's just it's so many things. I mean, you know, many things change, man. It's unbelievable. But what my main thing is about playing music is trying to please the people.
Yeah.
So sometime my daughter asked me, what you make your list? What you gonna do tonight? What songs you gonna do? I said, I don't know. It all depends on the crowd.
Yeah, and what they want.
I probably do one thing or one way. If I see it not moving, I'm gonna switch to another one. And if I see they like that, I'm gonna stick to that.
I like the way you say that too, Mr. Rodney. Said you tell the crowd sometime, hey, y'all, listen, if we're doing something that y'all like, let us know. If we're doing something that y'all don't like, let us know. So we're gonna fix it. We're here to play for y'all. We're not here to play for. We're here to play for y'all. Because if the people don't come, you're gonna have an empty chairs. You're gonna have an empty place.
No.
So I said, that's another. You say we pick up on them things. I said to myself, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, right.
Makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah. Tell them, yes, indeed. If you like what we're doing, tell your friends about it.
There you
If
go.
you don't like what we're doing, tell us.
That's it.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
Come
it.
tell us, so we can do. If you tell us, we're gonna try to do. We're gonna try at least to do
That's it.
Better, yeah.
better. And that. Oh yeah, that's the main thing to me. Music, try to please the people, the public, the people. Yeah.
And it seems like that'll allow you to play for a longer time. You know, I know a lot of musicians whose mentality is kind of like it's their way or no way, and they just want to do whatever they want to do. And I could see how maybe that might not last as long. In
You can sneak a little bit of both in.
Yeah.
You can still put some of your stuff in there, but the main thing that you there, the people is there to listen. You can still put some of your stuff in there, but you got to. If you don't play for the people, then they're gonna be done with you.
Yeah.
You can still put, but if it's just play what I want to play, that is not gonna last too long.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
If the people, they're asking for requests and stuff, and you're not giving it to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. It's all been really good advice. Is there anything? So you've been living a long time, seeing how people have changed through the years. Is there anything that you wish more people understood about the old times, and you wish that they could take forward? And is there anything you want to say to people growing up now to help them appreciate whatever it is that we have going forward? How should people treat each other? How should people respect each other?
People should work more together and try to work with one another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Instead of fighting and shooting everybody, shooting one another. Hey.
Was there more value placed on life back in the old days? Do you think that's changed at all, or do you think that do you think people are losing sight of what it means to one, be alive, and to value their neighbors and the people around them?
I think so. I think
it's changed over time.
Oh yeah, a whole lot. I don't know. You meet some people that just. It's just all the way different. At least me myself, a lot of time I don't feel safe the places I go. Not even in church. And before, the olden days, it wasn't that way. You know what I mean?
But even then, in the olden days, saying that maybe you couldn't get off the bandstand, or maybe they still had these strange prejudices before, and the times have somehow changed for the better, but still the worse. Like it seems.
Yeah. I don't feel safe in a lot of places I go now. Not like used to.
Yeah.
Once in a time, people was together, man. Well, back on the days when I was coming up, people lived next door. If a chicken would get out their yard, Mama would say, "Come on, let's go help Miss what you call it, put her chicken back in the in the cage."
Yeah.
No, you don't see none of that no more. Right?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I will say this is that, as a closing thought, just that I didn't grow up always appreciating Zydeco music, but one thing that made me gain an appreciation for it was seeing people still today come together to dance and to all be unified by the music. and to still have a good time together with a bunch of people that they don't know.
Yeah, right.
And that look different than them. And I appreciate everything that y'all have taught me and that y'all have showed me through that. And it's been a blessing to play with y'all and to get to know y'all. And it's been awesome to see the people still get together and can be civilized and can come together and enjoy music together.
Yeah.
So thank y'all for that.
Yeah, you've been. I mean, you just was a different. I mean, you know, like I said before, you're nice and friendly, and
we're all proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know,
you're welcome, man.
You didn't try to do it your way. I mean, you work with the band. You know, with this. You just nice, friendly, and polite.
Well, thank you, Mr. Rodney.
Yep. Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
I can say that because I've been around. I met a few that's in the 40s. That's 1945 to today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
And bad on your instrument too.
You.
I tell that to anybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That, not because you just right there. So keep it up.
Thank you.
Man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I think that's been a great conversation. Thank y'all so much for coming in tonight. Thank y'all.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
If there's any other stories that you wanna document, you wanna put down, feel free to come back anytime.
Oh, okay.
Anytime.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
All right.
That sounded
All
good.
right. Well, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye, everybody.